Well, there you have it, just as we wanted the series to be. And when I say we, I mean collectively, as a neutral set of cricket supporters, to all going to the final match. It's been a cracker of a series. The visitors coming off the starting blocks hot, winning in Delhi, winning in Qatar, and India coming back strongly in Vizag, and now in Rajkot, taking it to Bengaluru for game number 5. 169 for 6. We weren't quite sure which side of par it stood on. At the moment, it looks like it was well ahead of where anything would be on that surface. 87 all out. And by all out, it was 87 for 9 with Temba Bavuma not coming back to bat. Top score of just 20 from Rasif van der Dusen, 14 from Quinton de Kock. They never really got going. Avesh Khan, 4 for 16, the pick of the bowlers in his 4 overs. Well, whether you use the word momentum, something was with India from the time that they won their last game, and they've carried it through here and looking to carry it through in a couple of days' time for a Super Sunday finish to this 5-match series. Here on Cricbuzz Live to assess it all, I'm joined by Zaheer Khan, Joy Bhattacharjya. I'll come to Zaheer first. As you mentioned, fast bowlers to the fore. Of course, the spinners picked up from where they left off, but it was the damage done early, and India just asserted themselves in this bowling innings.
Well, to start with, I think 170 looked really good, and after that, to see this kind of a bowling performance was something made the 170 look even more special. Considering how it started, losing 3 wickets, then there was partnership. So for Indian team also there was a lot of work to be done to get to a total which they thought that on this track is about par. You might have to fight really hard, knowing that Klaasen, Van der Dusen, Pretorius' power rating, maybe with the new ball, and Miller's form. All those factors you had to take into consideration and think that it's going to be a tricky chase or tricky score to defend at the halfway mark. But the bowling effort which you've seen from the Indian team was just superb. Complete bowling performance. Yes, special mention to Avesh as well, who's taken 3 wickets in 1 over, and also the crucial breakthrough of Van der Dusen. But on the whole, I think bowling just looked better and better from after the couple of games where we thought that this batting lineup of South Africa, especially the middle order, will give tough time to the bowlers. I think they've come to the party, and how. It's a just perfect result for the Indian team, and a perfect series so far. They have lived up to the expectations, accepted the challenge. There has not been any change right throughout the series so far. So all in all, it's nice processes, I would say, which have been followed throughout the series to get to the last game.
Yeah, and normally it's again, other than momentum, one of those phrases we don't use, Joy, but when you need to use it, you simply have to use it. Because when you talk about going 2-0 down, forget wholesale changes, not making any changes, telling the 11, you are the guys we backed, so what if it's 2-0 down? A football team can be 2-0 down at halftime. What do you say to them at the break? Not that you're going to make substitutions immediately. Get out there, then we'll see.
Absolutely. They were so good. And see, it's also a very creditable performance given the fact that the captain himself was not in form. So given your captain himself is not in form, he keeps losing the toss. That means, the decision making is in the opposing captain's hand. And there to keep your nerve and just keep going. I think 170, once they got 170, it was excellent. But even more than they're getting 170, once the pitch started playing that just in the first over from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, one kept low. Then the next over, one jumped up and hit Bavuma. And you could already see that doubt in the South African batsmen's eyes that they don't know how this pitch is going to play. And once that doubt comes in, I think the Indian bowlers did a very good job of just holding on to them, keeping in that length. And after that, they struggled throughout. I mean, at that point, they were 56. They were close to the same score. But remember, Bavuma was also injured. So they were actually one more down in actual effect.
Joy, there's something to be said on a surface when the tallest and the shortest members of the opposition have both been injured in the same innings.
Exactly. God, yeah.
But let's come to Rishabh Pant, and no, we're not going to take apart his batting. Yes, it was 4 out of 4 as far as those dismissals are concerned. Let's look at the positives here. Rishabh Pant, the captain on the field. Because when you're batting, you're purely a batsman. You're not thinking as a captain. But he was thinking as a captain, making those bowling changes, doing things differently on different surfaces. Last game, you said 6 overs of spin in the first 10. This time it wasn't needed. He didn't do it.
Well, let's go back to how Rishabh Pant started his international cricket journey. The opinion has been divided through and through. That has been his career. His style of play has been the same. Where people, when he gets runs, people will talk about him. When he's not getting runs, people will talk about him. So the similar kind of pattern we've seen with his captaincy as well. So I think we have to give him time. There is no doubt about that. That's the kind of personality he has been. He likes to think out of the box. We were mentioning about his captaincy style as well. In the first two games, we've seen that he was trying to he tries to follow his instincts far too much. I think that is something which is very evident. He likes to take a lot of chances as well, which is in a way a good thing. But you have to find that right balance. When you are taking these extreme decisions, also at times when they come off, they look brilliant, but when they don't come off, they look equally bad. So that's something which you have to find that balance, and the same has been the case with his batting as well. So when he's playing those shots, you will see a brilliant innings because of his thinking and how he approaches the game. But at the same time, you'll see some dismissals, where you'll always be thinking that, oh, what was he thinking? And you have to at times let the process be, and let the person be. Let him see. You need characters to look at the game differently as well. If everyone is just going to look at the game in the same way, you will not find different styles of play. You will not find different players who make different kind of impacts, and you will not have those different role models as well who people like to emulate. So there have been X factor players who have been making that impact at the international level. With Rishabh Pant also, he has made that impact in international cricket in some ways. Maybe in test matches more, in one days, and now the white ball and his captaincy as that journey to be experienced and learn and get better. I mean, one thing which stands out with him is that he's very serious about his cricket. That no one can question. He's very passionate about the game, and he wants to do things at a rapid pace. So be it batting, bowling, winning, everything. He's just approaching it in that fashion. So I think you have to give him time, and with time he will achieve, and he will get what he wants, because he knows where he's headed. As simple as that.
But just purely as captain, I mean, the flamboyant batsman, let's keep it aside. We know how he's contributed when he's had to. But as a captain, given the number of captaincy options India has in both the red and the white ball format, do you see him as an ideal candidate to be captain? Would you like a captain who thinks out of the box?
Look, I have a slightly different take on this, and look, I genuinely believe, yes, he's. I think the words that Zach has used many words. Words I also out of the box. Audacious is a word that comes to mind. He does things that you don't expect at all. He just completely changes the game. My only one consideration with him is that sometimes he's trying to do too much. As it happens when you're just saying you want to impact. When do you want to do really bold decisions as a captain? And I'll tell you when you want to do it. You try and do bold decisions when you're really down. You're going to take really big decisions when you're really totally down, or you're overmatched as a team. That means the opposition is far better. Then you try and do something out of the box. Sometimes when you're a better team or an equal team, taking a risky decision might just put your team in a dangerous position. So that's the thing. Sometimes this sort of audacious captaincy works well when your back is to the wall, or your team is overmatched against a much better team and you do it. If it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off. But the day it comes off, you look like a genius. Uh, at this point in time, India doesn't often need that, because India is a pretty strong side. So what India needs is a more, perhaps, a calmer captain, as it was, possibly not taking so many daring decisions. So that's my feel about it. That doesn't mean that he's not going to sometimes do amazing things for you, but in the long run, some of the risks he takes, they don't need to take at this point in time, and that's all I feel about him. He's a terrific cricketer, and he's one of my favorite cricketers in the way he approaches the game. And look, very simple, there's something which Tony Gregg used to talk about Viv Richards and says, forget about everything else. He puts bums on seats. People pay to watch Viv Richards bat, and I think Rishabh Pant is that kind of player. He puts bums on seats. People pay to watch Rishabh Pant play. He's just that kind of player.
At least that was Tony Gregg saying it about Viv Richards. There was a certain player who said it about himself, which was Dr. W.G. Grace. When he was dismissed once in a match, he said, "No, that can't be out. People have come to watch me bat,
Not to watch you bowl, yeah.
not to watch you bowl." So it sounds like the kind of thing Rishabh might say at some point in time when he's playing, perhaps in a gully cricket match, not necessarily at the international level. But with the talk of that, of course, there have been individuals who stood up and performed. That's why India are 2-2 in the series. And now it's time to see who is our Airtel Extreme Fiber performer of the match, the player that was always on during the match.
Switch to Airtel Extreme Fiber. Super fast speed. पूरी फैमिली के लिए.
Well, the person we have picked on, and certainly he was always on during the match. At any point when the ball was thrown to him, Avesh Khan was the one who was switched on. Avesh Khan was the one who performed, and that's why we've given him this award, the Airtel Extreme Fiber Performer of the Match. 4 overs, 4 for 18. Tried really hard for his 5 for joy. There were little whispers from SMG in the commentary box saying, "Keep it straight, Avesh. A 5 for is a rarity." But it didn't really matter, even in a 20-over game. A 4 for, outstanding performance to make South Africa really not look the team who were in the first two ODIs, first two T20Is.
Absolutely. And I mean, look at those 15 dot balls out of 24. And, those balls that he does very well, and Zaheer will know this, Zach will know this much better. Cutting the batsman in half, that heavy ball that sort of comes back. And time and again, he beat the batsman with that. They just didn't get him. And he has that ability to bowl heavy balls. And I mean, today on a pitch like this, if you have a heavy ball and you keep your direction right, I mean, the batsman couldn't do very much against him at all.
Zaheer, obviously, we talked a lot about Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in the previous game and how good he was. Spinners came into the own in the last game. What was the secret to Avesh Khan's success today in Rajkot?
Well, I think the nature of the wicket as well. So that is something which he really enjoyed bowling on. There is no doubt about that. You've seen with Ngidi as well. That extra bounce which helped. Avesh Khan's bowling style is bit similar to that, right? Like he'll look to hit the deck hard, uses his height very well, has got a decent high arm action. So that's something which works in his favor. Wicket had to offer a little bit of extra bounce today. The Pretorius' wicket as well was suggestive of that. Off the wicket movement also was something which was on offer with the new ball, which he made use of. But generally, he's someone who will be coming at the right hand batsman from off to middle leg. That's the kind of lines which he likes to bowl. Uses his slower one very well. So those are the things which makes him a good T20 bowler. Has been using the Yorker very well off late in franchise cricket as well. Today there was not much of a need of that because the wicket had enough to offer, which he made use of.
Quick follow-up question, Zaheer. Is this similar or a kind of pitch we might expect to see in Australia? And if so, does Avesh Khan find a place in that side given what he's done today?
In terms of bounce, yes, maybe you'll see these kind of pitches for sure, but not in terms of the lateral movement. Australian wickets usually are known to be nice, hard with good bounce, but the lateral movement, especially in white ball cricket, you'll not find that much in Australia. You got to be very lucky to see those kind of things. Maybe in test matches when it's his 4th, 5th day, when those cracks open up and you hit the seam on those cracks and you'll see some exaggerated movement, but not that much in white ball cricket.
Joy, for you, based on today, based on the surface, does Avesh find a place at least in the squad?
Squad, I think definitely. You have to look at it. I mean, look, who are the certainties at this current form? I mean, I would say Bumrah is a certainty, Shami is a certainty, Bhuvaneshwar should be a certainty. You're looking at least maybe a couple of more fast bowlers. So yeah, there's a lot to choose from though if you have a look at it. And I think they'll want to take at least one good left arm seamer across because just to give them that variety. So yeah, That's the only thing. Otherwise, I think he has as good a chance as anybody else.
Certainly does, but you'd have to say with that speed, and just like Avesh, Airtel Extreme Fibers, super fast speed is always on. No hassles, just seamless performance with each family member simultaneously streaming different types of content on their devices without disruption. Oh boy, all we can say, folks, is how the internet has changed. If the internet is the equivalent of an Avesh Khan delivery or an Umran Malik delivery, you know it is really where you want it to be. The future is already here. We love it, don't we? But that's the kind of performance that has got India on the map, to all, going to Bengaluru, and that's certainly a performance they will be very proud of. We've talked a lot about the bowling, overall the attack, Joy, but this is one of those performances that on this surface, the batters will maybe deserve an extra pat on the back because of everything that they did between Hardik and Dinesh Karthik.
Absolutely, I think it was brilliant batting, and again, as I said, that Hardik managed to play the early well. He was the only guy who got going from the very start, and he gave Dinesh Karthik those 8-9 balls to sort of get his opportunity to start playing. And then Dinesh went. They did beautifully, and I think they didn't lose their cool, because at that point when Rishabh Pant got out, it looked really, really tough for India. Nobody seemed to be getting themselves in, and I think it is a very, very important match for these people. Hardik and Dinesh really as a 6-7 for India. There's a bit of chemistry there. There's something there that's developing. Of course, we have Ramindraj Jadeja as well, who hasn't had a great tournament but is waiting in the wings. So now you have a sort of core of 3-4 finishers who you think you can rely upon, going forward.
Yes, Zaheer, you've given us your take on Dinesh Karthik and his second coming and how he's enjoying it. But we ran out of time before we could get your take on Hardik in that mid-show. Certainly, he was the one who laid the foundation almost. And as I asked Joy, there was a little bit of Hardik at the Hardik we saw at Mumbai, but there was also a little bit of the Hardik who won the trophy at Gujarat this year.
Look, we did touch upon how Hardik likes to approach this format. He would like to be at number 4 ideally. If you ask him that, forget what the team wants, for how you're looking at the game and how you see that that you will make the maximum impact. The answer will be like, I want to bat higher up the order. So the ideal spot which he's looking at is number 4. He does understand, what team requires and how he should mold himself according to the team's requirement. And number 5 position when you lose early wicket, that's the kind of situation which he thrives upon. And today and in this series also, and since IPL also, it's been very visible that he's enjoying that kind of a challenge. He's not looking rushed. So that's the beauty of his batting at the moment, and that's the part which I'm enjoying. So as a batter, if you always feel that you're in control and you can win the game from any stage, or you can change the gears if required at any stage, that is something which gives you that confidence. And when you've lost early wicket as a team, you need a temperament like that. You need someone who is assured of his ability and has that confidence of taking things to that level, but also absorbing pressure, which means slowing down. So I think that's something which Hardik is doing well, and if he's in this kind of a form and bowling at the same time for the team, then that's the best thing and the best balance you can look at. We often speak about Hardik's batting is fine, but when his bowling is also supporting that, then the balance of the team is always very, very strong. So and he's doing all that. So Rahul Dravid will be very happy, and the whole Indian team management will be very happy that the balance which they look to achieve, it's far, far easier to achieve when he is in this kind of a nick.
Joy, Zaheer has touched upon 2 aspects of Hardik Pandya: the batsman, the bowler, giving the balance. He'll have a third hat to bring to the party when India ends up in Ireland. That's captaincy. Something he's done decently, shall we say, of late. Just picked up a little trophy. So Hardik, the captain, I wonder if he'll do anything differently when he's captain himself. Perhaps get that number 4 slot?
Yeah, look, he'll probably sit, and I think Lakshman and he will sort out where he needs to bat much before the series. I mean, they'll have chats, they'll talk about it, and they look at it at, what does India need him to do? If you have a Sanju Samson at 4, does Hardik go maybe 5? 5 may be a good spot, which is right in between. you both sides you're keeping happy. But that's what I feel. I genuinely feel though that what I love about Hardik is every time you see him, he's growing as a player, as a batsman, as a captain, in the term maturity with which he looks at it. And I think what's happened is because of all the controversies in the middle and the injuries in the middle, he's had a great opportunity to look back and say how lucky he was to be where he is as an India cricketer and what it brings to him. And I think he again is the word I was using again. If Rishabh is audacious, right now Hardik brings a calmness which is just amazing, and that's a calmness. You go and you watch the finals of the IPL tournament again, and you will see Hardik. He's happy, but he's not over the top. He's not. He's still in very much in control, and that's a very new Hardik. It's somebody who's because he was known as an ambivalent person. I think he's enjoying being in control himself. There's a calmness to him that I haven't seen before, and I'm so impressed by him. I'm so impressed. It's exactly like Virat Kohli somewhere in that 2011, 12, 13 transformed himself from a good cricketer into perhaps a world class top four batsman in the world kind of cricketer. And I feel that Hardik in terms of maturity has done the same over these last 1 year. It's been amazing.
Yeah, certainly is. But the performer of the match, the player of the match, the man of the moment has to be Dinesh Karthik, just glancing over my shoulder at the widest smile you could ever imagine. India's first ever T20 international, way back in 2006 against South Africa at the Wanderers. We mentioned it at the start. He was player of the match. Very different kind of innings he played that day. Today, a commanding knock in the twilight, and I'm sure he won't mind us saying it, in the twilight of a fabulous career. Once again, player of the match against South Africa in Rajkot. 55 of 27 deliveries. And what a finisher he's turned out to be. Making a pitch to be on that plane to Australia and not doing a bad job of it at all. 2 matches each to the 2 teams. We're going into match number 5. We move to the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru, and that's where all the action will happen on a Super Sunday. Certainly, if that M word that we don't like to discuss on Cricbuzz Live is anything to go by, South Africa have no chance. If they are to win, they'll have to make sure, like on Cricbuzz Live, the word momentum becomes illegal. Gets tossed out the window. They've got to start from scratch and take us back to Delhi on match number 1 when they performed so well and took a lead in the series. Zaheer, I'm going to come to you first. We're not going to spend much time on India because it's going to be same team, same 11, all the same to do. What about South Africa? Do they need to make any more changes? Mindset, personnel, anything?
Well, I think one change which looked evident from today's match, the person who got retired hurt, Bauma, the ex-skipper. So that's something which they'll have to keep a close eye on, and his recovery looked very bad. I think by the look of it, looks like he might be missing the last one, the crucial one. So who is going to be the captain? That's something which South African camp will be thinking about. So that brings one change for sure. Reza Hendrick is someone who has replaced Quinton de Kock as an opener, and we saw a couple of changes because of that. So I think that one change which is coming to my mind. Otherwise, Stubbs, they started the series with they might go in that direction if they have to look to bring in some more power. Maybe look at opening with someone else. That's something which they will have a debate upon. Bowling wise, I think they'll stick to the similar kind of a lineup, depending on Rabada and Parnell's fitness. So bit of a fitness concern in that camp, and depending on that, the decisions will be made. We'll have to wait and see who is fit enough to take that field. But I still feel for Indian team, it's going to be keeping their head down, following the processes, not getting relaxed now that, okay, we've taken the series to the last game. This is the time you should not relax. You have to be just focusing on the processes and getting the series through now. Yes, the momentum is with you, but you can't now think about, okay, South Africa, they have too many injuries. We have gotten them out. We figured them out. All those kind of things can be also detrimental to kind of run that last mile. So you got to finish the race strong now. You've done all the hard work, and that's something which I will look at from the last game.
Yeah, something tells me in under Rahul Dravid's tutelage, something like that is not going to happen, Joy. But just staying on South Africa for a moment, yes, a few problems out there depending on Babuma's fitness, but in the bowling department, they actually have a bit of a dilemma because they brought in Ngiri, they brought in Janssen. Both of them have done pretty decently. I don't know what Janssen's slight injury there. So maybe he could go out if Rabada's fit. But otherwise, Ngiri definitely walks in and keeps his place.
Really walks in. Look, I feel that if Janssen goes out, Rabada's injury is apparently slightly more serious than Parnell. I think Parnell's reasonably fit. So Parnell will walk back in and that will give their batting also a little bit more because I think at this point in his career, Parnell is a better batsman and a little bit more control. You see, the one problem with somebody like the ground like Chinnaswamy is that even top edges go for six. And, we discovered that to our cost that bowlers with the height of Janssen, when they pitch it out there, I remember there was a bowler in the first IPL who bowled a ball to Brendan McCullum, and it was a lovely delivery which he top edged and it went for six. I don't know where that bowler has gone nowadays, but he will tell you that any top edges in that.
Boundary line. The boundary line was shrunk in that game. All I can remember.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think probably Parnell would be a better choice under those conditions if he's fit, of course, and we don't know that right now.
Yeah, I hope you knew where Joy was going with that little comment over there. But let's talk about Team India. We're not really expecting any changes, but it's still worth having a look at the 11 again. Again, tactically speaking, new venue, going to Bangalore, any reason at all to look at anything, or you're absolutely happy with everything the way it is, Zaheer?
I think that has been the hallmark of the series, right? Like they've not really gone in any direction, knowing that okay, this is the 11 they believe in, and once you lost the first couple of games, it became even more important for them to not try anything different, just stick to the processes, and understand what is required to win a game of cricket. And when you look at the balance, all the options are there. Like you have four seam options. You have two good quality spinners in that lineup, so that covers most of the bases. Like you've seen in the previous game, Rishabh Pant used quite a lot of spin options in the first 10. Today he knew that the wicket had something for the seamers in it, so he was starting with Hardik. So these are the options which you have. So you still have potentially 16 overs of seam bowling and eight overs of spin to play around with. So that is going to be the case. Chinnaswamy predominantly over the years, we know teams would have liked to have more and more seamers there. The spinners find it very hard to bowl on that surface. So you will need that many options and that kind of balance. So I don't see them doing any changes right now. They would want to continue with the template which is set for the series and generally the approach, and they would want to now finish strong by winning the series, create that kind of belief as well that we can come back in a series with any sort of situation.
Yeah, I think someone like Yuzvendra Chahal will enjoy going back to the Chinnaswamy Stadium. He hasn't been there in a while. And the beauty of the IPL is so many different players from different parts of the country can call certain stadiums their home. But Joy, you gave us a what looked like a toughie, but for anyone who could maybe do a little brand spotting, this could be a simpler one. Joy, go ahead with the question.
So why were cartons of cigarettes sent to a dressing room in Leighton during a county match in June 1932? The county match was between Yorkshire and Essex, of course, and Holmes and Sutcliffe scored a record 555 runs together, which was a record at the time. And so that partnership, and there was a cigarette company at that time, which is still around, called 555. So they immediately saw it as a great marketing opportunity and they sent cartons of cigarettes immediately after that, saying that, okay, 555, just associated the name with the score. So after that, of course, there's a lot of rumors that 555 got its name from that innings, but actually,
I was just going to tell you, the first quiz I ever heard it, the question was phrased exactly like that. Which brand of cigarettes has got its name from a famous cricketing partnership? And I was quick to point that out that, well, that could be a rumor, but the association is definitely there because the brand was sent to the dressing room. So I'm glad you clarified that, Joy. And I wonder who it is who picked it up. Let's celebrate the winner, Joy. Take it away.
Absolutely. Who is it today? Sharat Shetty, is he a regular? haven't seen the name before, but well done, Sharath. Absolutely fantastic answer. And it's a fun answer because, every once in a while you want to ask questions which are not just about looking up records and how many numbers. This was a quirky one, so I thought you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, the kind of stuff you'd find if you ever watch Joy on Retro Reels, take you back in time, won't only talk cricket. It might depart from cricket to the extent of going into movies, tennis, football, acting, just about everything. Where do you find Retro Reels? Simple. Cricbuzz Plus, subscribe, get there. It's not only Joy. There'll be lots and lots of stuff over there, articles and interviews and so much more that we all offer you right here on the entire immersive Cricbuzz experience. For now, we've got one more match to go. We're all going to be there bright and early on Sunday evening, same time. And we'll see you then. For now, it's 2-2 in the series. On behalf of Joy, Zaheer, and my entire team at Cricbuzz Live, it's time to say goodnight.